Cash Crew, we're back for another episode. Just like I mentioned in the last episode, we have a special guest for this one. But before we do that, how you feel, Vlad?
I'm good. Welcome back for another week. We got a special episode for you guys this week. We're going to talk about Atlanta sports, everything Atlanta sports. But before we get started, we're actually going to introduce one of Atlanta's biggest fans. I mean, this dude rep Atlanta to the fullest. He will talk Atlanta sports until your ears bleed. He's Atlanta's biggest fan. But let him introduce himself.
Yo, what up, Cash Crews? Your boy Kenz, Tonton Kenz, a.k.a. Candy Kenz of the Distinguished Gentleman Podcast. I'm here, man. I'm here with my guys, Vlad, Kendrick. We out here. I'm just ready to talk about ATL, goddamn. I'm born and raised, Grady Memorial Hospital. You already know what it is. East Side, South Side, Clayco. What up, though?
Grady, baby, in the house.
Baby. Man, you rep Atlanta to the fullest. But definitely, we got a good episode for you guys. We're going to give a lot of insight onto Atlanta sports. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Atlanta sports right now, we got basketball that's going on. Football just ended. And soccer hasn't got started up again, and neither has baseball. But the atmosphere of Atlanta sports in general right now, how you feel about it?
Atlanta sports is a complicated... It's a complicated universe to live in. There isn't a ton of like super success for the history of Atlanta sports. There's glimpses of excitement throughout the decades. There's been a lot of glimpses of excitement of things to, catch you, make you pay attention and enjoy it. But we haven't reached that plateau, that pinnacle regularly enough for it to be what it could be.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? We're going to shout out Dub again because Dub always says that the Falcons stands for fans always left counting on next season.
But when that season comes,
Oh,
when the season comes, man, or when the season comes marching in, hey, we're going to be so, I'm
hopeful
telling you.
at the first few weeks.
I'm going to say this. I think that Atlanta United started a tradition that all Atlanta teams should keep. I think from now on, if you are an Atlanta professional team and you win a championship, you take the trophy to Magic City. It's the only thing that makes sense. We got to show people that we're about victories and booties out here, and that's what we do.
I'm weak.
I believe in it.
Wow.
So your Falcons last year,
my boys,
ended the year 4-12.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Started at 0-5.
What's going on there?
I look to leadership. Leadership is where everything starts, right? So Arthur Blank, I believe, is a great owner, but he's a nice guy.
Is it time for Matt Ryan to go?
I disagree with that premise totally because I refuse to. I watch Matt Ryan, and I'm a person who I did not like Matt Ryan too much when he got drafted, 08, 09. I watched him for 4 years, and I had no faith in him. I didn't like Matt Ryan until the NFC Championship game in 2012 or 2013 January against the 49ers.
The one that y'all lost.
We lost after being up, I think, 24-3.
But what changed your mind after that game? Because I didn't really follow it, but what was it about that game that made you like it?
I watched the game and I realized that our defense is trash. Our defense had been so auspicious, and just watching how Matt Ryan plays and what he does when he gets in the game, when he gets in his zone, and he's not. I'm not gonna pretend like he's Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. He's not one of those guys. But I think he's the top of the second tier as far as quarterbacking. He's very professional. You know what I'm saying? He's represented the city extremely well. He does his job.
He's super productive.
He does his job. There's a lot of guys that I could point at and be like, I don't know if that guy right there does his job. And I can't say that about Matt Ryan. There's offensive linemen that I question.
You can cuss on the pod.
Oh, it's a lot of these.
I heard that Atlanta coming out. You was like, that motherfucker right.
Listen, I was getting because there's so many guys that I look at, like Robert Alford. You know what I'm saying? He's no longer with us, but he was a cornerback who was just known for getting PIs and holdings and a whole lot of stuff that
dropping sure interceptions,
like hurting the
game,
defense. You know what I'm saying? And Vic Beasley turned out to be a scrub bum. Bless his heart, though. I heard he's a cool guy, but I don't need him on my defensive line ever again. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys.
What about Tack? Where's Tack now?
Tack. I think we traded him somewhere, and they let him go.
Dang.
So, and I believed in Tack. He was like, I'm doing this for my grandma. I appreciated the energy, but it just never conveyed on the field. So is that an organizational problem? Or since we're seeing the same thing over and over again? Or you think it's just a few bad years, few bad apples? Again, it starts at the top, right? So Thomas Dimitroff was our general manager ever since Matt Ryan got drafted. He drafted Matt Ryan. Great job. He traded the picks to go up and grab Julio. Great job. He got Calvin Ridley at the end of the first round. Great job. Vic Beasley had 3 good years.
I'm noticing a trend here. Right. You just said great job for 3 offensive and 2 of that are generational. I mean, if we're gonna, I think Matt Ryan's gonna get his flowers when he's gone out of the league.
I agree.
When we look back at his numbers, Julio gets his love now, but it will be even more when he leaves. It's gonna be like, wow, we didn't appreciate him because he didn't win a lot. So is it they just can't scout?
They can't figure
defensive
it out
talent
on the defensive end, because again, like I said, I think
some defensive players.
I think the issue has been defense. People, it's easy to look at football and blame quarterbacks on wins because they get it don't matter how many times that ball get deflected on a pass. Once you get an interception, that's on the quarterback. It could touch 4 people. That interception is on the quarterback. It could touch 3 of your guys and then end up in the defense's hand.
I really don't know why we don't have team interceptions.
Like, it doesn't make sense at this point, because we obviously could tell that a lot of these guys are muffing the ball's going through their hands or hitting them in the face and just landing on the defender's property. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. But again, it's easy to look at football and think that it's the quarterback. But Matt Ryan, like I said, he does his job. Defensively, we've had holes everywhere. The last quote-unquote great linebacker to wear a Falcons jersey was Jonathan Abraham.
Wow.
I was going to say Keith Brookins, but okay.
Jonathan Abraham, bro.
Yeah, he was after Brookins.
That's true.
Yeah. Right. So
that's true, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's tough. You can't go that long. That's like basically on offense, like saying you don't have a QB.
Or running
like
back.
You the Dolphins out here.
It's
and that's the QB of your defense. If you don't have a QB of your defense,
exactly.
You're not.
And Deion Jones is great, you know what I'm saying? But he's still young. And I don't think the pieces around him have gotten to the place outside of Grady Jarrett. I don't think we have one person on each level. We have Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, and I guess you could say Keanu Neal, who was hurt 2 years in a row. You know what I'm saying? So it's
did they draft Grady?
They drafted Grady in the 5th round. They drafted Deion, I think, in the 1st or 2nd, and it's been a mess, honestly.
Wow.
And that's just the Falcons.
So it looks like in this draft, y'all better be not drafting not one offensive player and draft all defense.
Completely disagree with you. I think it's time. I think we draft a quarterback 1st round.
Really?
Even with all the love and support that I have for Matt Ryan, I think.
So like I said, Matt Ryan's out of here.
I think Matt Ryan's
groomed the quarterback.
Exactly. I think Matt Ryan's out of here a year or 2.
If you feel threatened by a rookie coming in, then that's a personal problem.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is scary. You said Aaron Rodgers saw a rookie and he was like, "I'm gonna make sure you stay on the bench."
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on Carson Wentz.
That's a fact. But let's transition to the other side of, I guess we can say, Centennial Olympic Park.
Okay.
Not really. I mean, literally outside the doors and go to State Farm Arena.
Down the street.
Not down the street, on the other side of the sidewalk.
Right.
But the Atlanta Hawks.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're gonna spend some time on this one.
I love the Hawks. You
know currently sitting at 14-19.
Yes, should be 17-16. Really, we could possibly be 18-15. But it's a lot going on with the Hawks, right? A young team. For the most part, when healthy, we start 4 rookies and have one coming off the bench.
Wow.
With Clint Capella being the only veteran in that rotation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
2 of those guys are hurt.
Rondo too.
Well, no, I'm saying with our core rotation, which would be Trey, Cam, Kevin, John, and DeAndre Hunter.
Correct.
And then you just add in Clint Capella to be our starting 5. That's our core rotation right now. And the oldest guy on that is John, who's 23, and he's been in the league 3 years, 4 years. This is 4th year.
Yeah, John was drafted 1 year before Trey.
Exactly.
So, no, Capella should be older than John.
No, he's the oldest, but I'm talking about the guys that we drafted.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah, John is the oldest. Yes.
Right.
I saw a thing. I think Miami was putting. They have their preview things on Fox Sports, Sun, whatever, and they were showing the draft picks, and it was just like 18, 19, 20. It was crazy. Wait a minute. I just made me realize what happened to Redhead Herter.
Kevin Herter?
Yeah. Scotch Bonnet. You know what I'm talking about?
Red Velvet?
Red Velvet is here. He just hit somebody with a monster jam last night. I love Kevin Herter, man. I'm a big fan of his. But
yeah, they're young and hungry.
They're very young. Injuries is starting to take the injuries hurt. You know what I'm saying? Dre, who was having a breakout season, he's probably arguably one of our best defenders as far as on-ball defense and help defense. He's been out with a knee injury for about 3-4 weeks now. Probably another 3-4 weeks to go. Cam is regular. I love Cam. Cam's my favorite player on the Hawks right now. Mm-hmm. But you could tell he's 20. You know what I'm saying? You could tell he's 21. Right. You could tell he's a kid. You could tell he's young.
You're right.
And he's arguably one of our best defenders on ball and help. You know what I'm saying? Like,
very slept on.
I watched him play against LeBron, and I know LeBron wasn't playoff LeBron, but he was giving LeBron fits when we played LA. It was a beautiful thing to watch. Even Skip Bayless, trifling ass, said it was the best defensive performance he's seen on LeBron James in a long time. And he don't believe in Cam.
A lot of people don't. I mean, the only reason is because Cam is not very vocal. Cam is not...
He's not animated.
Yeah, he's not sure. But if... And I keep saying this, and I've told a lot of people this. It's not a fluke why before his draft, all his, peers were saying, who's the sleeper of this draft in 3 to 5 years? And every single one has said Cam Reddish. Who was the best player in high school when you guys all played each other in that AAU circuit? All of them said Cam Reddish.
Cam Reddish, baby.
He has KD's wingspan.
The kid is long. Pause. He's got reach.
The only thing with Cam is I feel like we go as far as Cam go. We know what Trey is. We know what Trey does, right? Mm-hmm. But just like, and I hate the comparison, but Golden State went as far as Draymond went. We know what Clay is going to give you. You know what Steph is going to give you.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So Cam has to become, at minimum, the next Paul George for us. Yeah. He has to be that wing that can go get his own bucket, knock down the 3-ball, create his own shot, get to the lane, and play both sides of the ball. He has to be 3 and D.
The interesting thing about that is coming out in that draft, we picked 4th and 10th. We got DeAndre Hunter at 4. And we got Cam Reddish at 10.
Reddish, correct.
Watching the highlights of them, I was like, we basically got baby Kawhi and baby
Paul George.
It's ridiculous, the similarities of those two games and styles. Even though Cam's favorite player is KD. Yeah. He has a little KD in him too, though, which is interesting.
Which I would prefer him to go to KD rather than Paul George, please.
But if you have a Trey and you have Cam looking like PG at least, and you have Dre looking like Kawhi at least, and then you sprinkle in Kevin Herter, who's gonna probably average 40% from 3 for his career.
If he can turn to another Klay Thompson, I'll take it.
And he stepped up his defense considerably since last year. And then you just have John Collins doing what he does, cleaning up the glass, getting easy mid ranges on mismatches.
He's here.
He'll be here.
If he does not leave in the offseason,
where would he go? Why would he go?
No, there's a lot of teams that'll pick him up.
There's a lot of teams that'll pick him up, but will the Hawks let him go?
Well, do they have it? Is he a restricted?
He's a restricted free agent.
I'll answer that. This is the same organization.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
The same organization.
Different leadership.
The same organization. Mm-hmm. It's in the spirit. All right? It still runs through those hallways. That evil spirit. I'm telling you, ever since this draft, we have been cursed. 2006.
Oh, man.
With the 3rd pick, we're going to select 6-man from North Carolina, Marvin Williams, over
everybody.
a Hall of Famer in the name of Chris Paul.
Wow.
From Wake Forest.
What I will say,
okay,
is
Darren Williams.
He's not done. He's in
I know the pain though.
Even you miss on those two, you still had a third chance and get the player who's on your team now, but he's way older. Rajon Rondo from Kentucky.
Listen, right?
How do you go? Hold on. I'm sorry. Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, I did good the past few years.
That pain is real.
Yeah,
oh
I'm
my
telling
gosh.
you. I've heard this for the past 10 years of my life.
And don't get me wrong. Don't get me started on Joe Johnson's contract in 2010, but that's neither here or there.
Yeah, that was foolish.
But
we got rid of that guy.
Whatever the Hawks do, please.
What happened to the Josh days? The two Joshes, Childress and Smooth.
Well, Josh Childress ended up going to China, and Josh Smith never became his full true potential.
He never learned to shoot.
Yeah. What? Not even shoot. He didn't really learn the game. He really relied on his athleticism. He didn't really truly learn how to play NBA basketball.
Interesting. You know who's like that now? Ben Simmons.
I was gonna say Andrew Wiggins, but
well, yeah.
I can't say Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons.
In terms of having talent and being okay with the talent that you have, not sharpening it, absolutely,
agreed.
But I'll still take Ben Simmons now over the totality
because the talent that Ben Simmons has
is through the roof.
Yeah. He can defend, he can pass,
and his IQ is better than Josh.
But God bless Josh Hart.
But the current
athletic freak,
the current core that Atlanta has, we have Trey, we have Kevin, the only thing I wish Atlanta does is that a lot of teams have done in the past is when they get a young core, 2-3 years they want to break it up. We've seen that several times over history, a lot of times. The only time I can agree for us to break it up is if we go get an upcoming big time star. I don't want KD. His career's done. Well, not done, but it's he's on his back end.
He's on the back end. He's got 3-4 years.
I don't need KD.
Yeah.
I don't need Braun. Giannis already signed the contract, so he's off the board.
No. If you can get Giannis for Dre Cam, a first rounder,
I don't want it.
Oh, you tripping?
I don't want it. Let me tell you why.
I don't know about that.
Giannis just signed that contract, right? They got Drew Holiday. You know where the Bucks are right now?
Drew Holiday been missing for the last 10 games, but go ahead.
Where are the Bucks right now?
Drew Holiday has been missing for the last 10 games.
Where are the Bucks right now?
Number one in the East. Or no, not they're number one. They're
number
not. Yeah, they're
three.
not number one.
They're number
1, 2, 3.
That's without their arguably second best player though.
Yeah, they're still.
Who's been missing for 10 games?
Second best player? So that means you just diminish Chris Middleton.
Yeah, I did.
We're not going to go there. We're talking about Atlanta sports right now. So
they shouldn't give him that contract.
Let's get back to Atlanta sports.
Right. So wait a minute, hold on. Was that supposed to be some slight on Giannis? Because if Giannis goes to the Hawks, y'all going to the Eastern Conference
easily. Giannis and Trey?
Maybe not.
Oh, come on.
I'm not sold on Giannis.
You sounded like me when Giannis spurned Miami instead.
Maybe not.
I can look back now and say I was acting the fool. Now I'm going to tell you acting the fool.
Listen.
I'm telling you, in three
and Giannis Harden in Atlanta. I don't know what y'all talking about.
In 3 to 4 years, we're going to see who Giannis really is. But anyway, that's neither here nor there because Giannis don't play for Atlanta.
Right. So,
but this young core, if I hope player development really take all this talent very serious because you might not have a chance. Yes.
What do you think about the coaching in Atlanta right now?
I think
because that's what I hear. I'm in these fan groups on Facebook, and after every loss, fire LP, blah, blah, blah.
LP's doing what LP's supposed to do.
For the casuals, who's the coach?
Lloyd Pierce.
Who the hell is Lloyd Pierce?
Also, Lloyd Pierce, he was a developmental coach for the Philadelphia 76ers, so he gets a lot of praise. When Ben Simmons first got there, when Joel Embiid first got there.
So high praise for him.
High praise for him from players. Last summer, when the world was shut down and we was out here protesting and marching Black Lives Matter, he was at the face for the Atlanta Hawks organization. He was at every protest. I love him. Outside of basketball, I love what he is for the community of Atlanta because I think he represents Atlanta at its core as far as civil rights, as far as black empowerment. Like, I think he's just great for the community. As a coach, I think he does a fairly decent job. His first 2 years in Atlanta, he had a bunch of 19-year-olds and Evan Turner. Like,
that's true.
What was he supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Last year, I think we were 10 games outside of the bubble. John Collins was suspended for 25. We went 4-21 in that span. It was absurd and disgusting and disappointing. But people looked at him and say, "Oh, if our coaching was better, maybe we'd be a better team." Nah, baby.
So don't you think that this year is more representative of what he can do? I mean, they're right in the thick of things.
We're right there, and on top of that, though, we're right in the thick of things, and we're still dealing with injuries. Cam's been missed the last 3 games. Like I said, DeAndre Hunter, he's been out since January 26th.
We could play better.
We could play a little bit better.
Yeah,
but
we could play.
There's a lot of work.
Bogdanovich was out.
Bogey's been out since January 6th.
Oh, we got a nickname already.
Hey, you know, Bogey, Gallo, Solo, we got a squad.
Dang, Gallo. Oh, yeah. So
Gallo just dropped 38.
Yeah, he can do that.
You know what I'm saying? 10 for 12 from 3. We got a team that can make noise. They're not a championship team yet.
Nah.
Not even close.
Trey still has some work to do, even though he's putting up great numbers. And the X factor, like I said, we will go as Cam Reddish goes. But my biggest question with all that being said is, how come, you know, Atlanta sports can never have the fan base and the backing like a New York Knicks, a Dallas Cowboys, a Boston Celtics, a New England Patriots? Well, like, how come, or why do you feel like Atlanta sports don't get that kind of supporting?
So, I was born at Greater Memorial Hospital, right? So I've been here 33 years of my whole life. I know so many people that weren't here 33 years their whole life.
Yeah.
That came from Florida, that came from New York, that came from Texas, Pennsylvania, et cetera, who come from places that have teams that have great success legacy.
Mm-hmm. I agree, but not to cut you off, but we also have a lot of people that live in New York or Jersey or whatever, that's Dallas Cowboys fans.
Again, those teams
for years.
You're talking about a team that has legacy. There's a lot of Chicago fans.
From there.
There's a lot of Chicago Bulls fans outside of Chicago.
That's true.
You know why? Because they had the greatest player in the world on their team for 16 years, and they won 6 championships.
Atlanta had the greatest dunker.
So right, and during that time, Atlanta had the greatest dunker, and Atlanta loved him for that.
Yeah. But only Atlanta did.
And only Atlanta did, and the organization kicked him to the curb to the Clippers because they thought, man, if we get rid of our best player, maybe we'll shake something up. Damn, idiots.
So I'm glad you said that. So at this point, I mean, the Hawks haven't delivered us a championship, and
the St. Louis Hawks have, but it follows the organization.
5 decades now?
It follows the organization.
The Falcons haven't delivered us a championship.
4 NFC championships, 2 Super Bowl appearances.
Ever. Last time we've been to the Super Bowl was 2016. We all know what that happened. And the year before that was 98. So
you ain't got to go there. All right? I let you go on your spill with Marvin and the 3rd pick, but you ain't got to talk about what Tom Brady and the Atlanta Falcons defense did.
You knew better than that, bro.
That is worse.
So,
bringing on old shit.
That hurt.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is to get the spirit back in the city. What is it going to take? Is it going to take a one-in-a-generation player? Is it going to take a Super Bowl? Is it going to take an NBA Finals? What is it going to take?
I have a theory.
Atlanta.
I have a theory. We are in the place. When people think of the South, they talking about people from Georgia.
Yeah.
Let's not be let's not mess it up, because
definitely
that's exactly what and the stereotypes are true. Okay, so it starts with football, period.
Yeah.
Georgia Bulldogs, Atlanta Falcons. As soon as they start winning, we'll start getting Georgia. It's funny because Georgia Bulldogs is in Athens.
And
that's nowhere close to Atlanta.
But here's the funny thing. Both of them blew it. They blew it against Alabama.
That's what I'm
Falcons
saying.
blew against the Patriots.
That's what I'm saying. We will never be taken seriously. This city will never be taken seriously until those 2 organizations win big.
It's gonna be a grassroots. It's got to be like a developmental, because I don't see Deshaun Watson coming here, Russell Wilson coming here, and
I don't know. Deshaun's from Atlanta now.
No,
that would be nice.
I know, I want it, but I don't think there's the logistics of bringing Deshaun here. I don't think we're capable of doing that.
Think about it. You add a dual quarterback that's 25.
No. I'm talking about financially, because Matt Ryan has a lot of backup money that we owe him.
Can't ship him in a deal with other players?
Yeah,
maybe.
Why not?
But we still have to pay him because of the way NFL contracts work are really weird. If we was to trade Matt Ryan right now, we still owe him $40 million.
Sheesh.
Okay, Arthur Blank, you own Home Depot. How bad you want a championship? No, like let's.
I'm not disagreeing.
Let's explore that idea. I do want to explore that idea, because what does Deshaun Watson do for the Atlanta Falcons right now?
Immediate success. You pair up. We saw what Deshaun can do with an elite receiver. Now, is Julio 25? No. However, Julio still has maybe one or two still fairly good years in him. You pair him up with Deshaun Watson. You buffer up that offensive line. You get a decent defense that can keep.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. What did the Texans defense do for him last year?
Not much.
Nothing.
But
what did the Falcons defense do for Matt Ryan last year? Nothing.
But also this.
We would trade him for youth and losses.
I understand
We'd still be losing.
But look at Deshaun numbers.
Deshaun numbers were better than Matt Ryan's.
But not that much better.
But they weren't crazy better.
No. With no true number one receiver.
Who we talking about? Oh, Deshaun?
And a very, very, oh my goodness, horrible offensive line.
Okay. I'll give you that. But again, Atlanta was a good team. Well, Atlanta was a good team offensively last year, right? Mm-hmm. We still like a top 10 ranked offense.
Okay.
And we were 4-12. So that's not because of the offense.
I understand that. So, and I get it. Your problems are more on the defensive side.
But most of them, majority.
But I would still take a 25-year-old who just threw for 4,800 yards last year, Deshaun Watson, coming home, pair him up with Julio, maybe and Calvin, and you might even do what the Cowboys do. Go get one more stud in a draft receiver like the Cowboys did with CeeDee Lamb. Now you got 3 receivers, right? And then after all of that, you focus all your attention on the defense. In 2 years, you might be a contender in NFC. Because
Matt, you want to hear something crazy? You said Deshaun had how many?
4,800 yards.
4,800. Mm-hmm. How many touchdowns? It's like 33.
30, yeah.
With interceptions?
7.
Okay. Matt Ryan, 4,581 yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, good for a 93% rating. Crazier stat. He has averaged over 4,000 yards since 2011. It's not Matt Ryan.
Mind you.
We know it's not Matt Ryan.
Mind you, Julio was hurt for the better part of the second half of the season last year.
I get it's not Matt Ryan.
So he's not just throwing it to Julio.
But how many years did Matt Ryan really truly have? 1?
But this
maybe
is
2?
This is the question, right? So
you got to plan for tomorrow.
If we want to win tomorrow, Deshaun Watson is the idea. Like, that would be great. But again, the logistics of Deshaun Watson, because how much we would have to pay Matt without him being on the team, it just doesn't make sense to take that L. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you pay to play, you can go bankrupt, and you can't pay nobody else. Then everybody leaves.
You've heard on my podcast and how ridiculous Vlad can get when it comes to it's not
you just throwing money out.
Bro, you can't do that.
Like, I wish that it could be, dollar for dollar. You do the trade.
I know it's not dollar for dollar.
We sacrifice a second round.
It's not the Yankees, bro.
But at the same time, okay, you
want to win. I get that.
No, you need to win. It's not want to win. One was 10 years ago. When you
had
yes, when you had
we talking about football. If you're Arthur Blank, you always want to win. Needing to win, every team needs to win.
So you tell me the Detroit Lions want to win?
Do they? Who doesn't want to win? Who has an organization where they don't want to win?
Not the Lions.
The Lions can't win. There's a difference between
No. They don't want to win. The Houston Texans, they don't want to win. You don't trade D-Hop. You don't trade D-Hop.
That's just bad front office. That's bad management.
You don't want to win.
That's bad.
You don't want to win.
Some guys think ego. They think I'm bigger than these players. So I'm gonna do what I think we need to do to find success.
AKA, you don't want to win.
No, that's wanting to win. You just don't know how.
The players
that's how it is. It's Detroit. The organization doesn't know their decisions, because you can tell, like, some decisions you make can string you along for 10 years.
Right.
You make a bad decision here and there goes 15 years. And because you're committed to these people 4 or 5 years at a time.
Exactly.
When you draft someone, unless it's a quarterback and you put them, it doesn't really matter who you draft. It takes at least 3 years to see what you got.
Exactly.
That by that third year, you either re-up or
Johnny
you let them go.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
Now, you do that in every single position. We talking, there's multi-generation, there's multi-years left out on the field. So Detroit doesn't want to they want to win. They don't know how. Their organization, and then the same thing is like, okay, you got all these organizations that's doing well. Well, they're not just letting go of executive ownership or leadership.
Exactly.
So they just can't. They got a case that they can't get right.
They got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it starts at the top.
They thought with Patricia that's what it was, and
they bombed. He bombed. Like
you do make a good point. So with that, what do you think was the biggest mistake for the Falcons in the past, let's say decade, and what was the biggest mistake for the Hawks?
Okay, because you saying just a decade, because.
Or just overall, like what mistakes has cost them? Like you said, you made that mistake and it cost you down the line 3, 4, 5, even 10 years down the line.
The Falcons are easier. The biggest mistake for the Falcons was buying into fool's gold. They saw Dan Quinn win 4 or 5 meaningless games at the end of the previous season, not last year, 2020, but 2019, and they said, "Oh, maybe somehow he'll catch fire and take that 4-game winning streak into the next season, and we'll be great." Even though, there's a 30 to 40% roster turnover because we have to draft guys, we have to re-sign guys, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They didn't believe what Dan Quinn truly was, what he showed us for the majority of the season.
Mediocre.
And we showed up 0-5. And instead of firing him, as soon as our defense and special teams watched the Cowboys rally up an onside kick in the last 2 minutes of a game that we were romping them in, let them go down the field and kick a field goal to choke again. It was the Super Bowl in a smaller, context. It was the Super Bowl all over again. And they say, we'll figure it out. No, you fire him that day. You fire him in the meeting. You come out to the meeting and you be like, you know what? We love Dan Quinn. He cool as hell, but I swear to God, he cool. But he got to go. We would have started off the season 0-2. We could have maybe wrote the ship then and changed something. But we just believed in that. And he's a nice guy, I guess. He's charming. He's a player. He's a player coach.
Yeah, that's what
so it's easy to get too attached to him. But we should have let him go way sooner. And it really set us back last season, the season before that. It's just been a struggle ever since, man. Losing Kyle Shanahan hurt, but I think keeping Dan Quinn hurt more.
Wow. Okay. And what about the Hawks?
The Hawks is so much more difficult because if you're talking about you said 10 years, so that's not Marvin Williams. That we're not going that far back.
I did use 10 years as a perimeter, but really we can say we can go further than that because the Hawks haven't won nothing serious in.
Well, I'll say this: the one of the biggest problems with the Hawks is for the longest time they were owned by Atlanta Spirit Group, and that was a corporation that was about making money. It wasn't a corporation that was about.
Was that an Atlanta-owned company?
Yeah, I believe that.
Or Atlanta Spirit Group.
Yeah,
but even they were about making money. It's not like they decorated or made the experience like when you go. Even when the Lakers suck, they still sold out. Even the Knicks now, they suck.
That's a lot of lineage. That's a lot of history.
I get that, but fine. You can even take it to other teams like Golden State before they became Golden State. That they now people still want to go to Oracle.
But there's still history with Golden State as a franchise. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that, but I'm just saying even that you want to make money, but the best thing you've done in the past years was give us State Farm Arena, really.
No. See, that's where you're wrong. Because Tony Wrestler gave us that.
Okay.
Right? There's a whole new ownership.
Okay.
So you have somebody who cares about the team, who cares about the city, who's trying to build something.
Yeah.
The Spirit Group wasn't trying to do none of that.
So that makes my case.
They were okay with status quo.
More proven that the old management didn't care because you didn't draft players that will bring people in the seats. Be honest with you, you didn't get players.
Not Josh Childress.
Childress.
We loved him.
The most exciting thing, I guess, in 2006 when Josh Smith won the dunk contest, whoop-de-doo.
And he did it in a Dominique Wilkins jersey.
Whoop-de-doo. But outside of that, let's be honest, even you want to put, look at the Clippers when Chris Paul got there. They didn't win big, but they seats were filled all the time because they brought excitement. So even if you had a management that said, hey, we don't care about winning, we want to just win, we just want to make money, they didn't even do that.
But see, again, I think it just depends on how you look at it, right? So the Atlanta Spirit Group, they were okay with status quo. They were still going to make money because
mediocre.
I agree. Status quo. They was okay with being regular. Yeah. They wasn't trying to be elite. They weren't trying to go hire general managers that was going to put the Hawks in position to be successful. They were trying to hire general managers who could do the job.
So let's think of it. Go back a little bit. Tony Wrestler is the owner principal owner.
Yes.
There's a lot of owners. I mean, Grant Hill owns a piece.
Yeah, he's the majority.
But Tony Ressler owns most of it. The first thing he did was go and get Knock It Out the Park CEO. Steve Koonin is that guy.
Yeah.
He understands Atlanta has to see your face.
Yeah.
Steve Koonin's on the radio every single morning.
Regular.
I used to listen to him every morning on my commute. And he's a bubbly guy. He's an energetic guy. And then we got our face. So we got the CEO, right? The face, kind of like our point guard. And then we went and got an exciting young player.
Yeah.
So you already see, we're talking business side.
Right.
Business side, they understand.
Because he went and got Travis Schlink from Golden State Warriors. He got the GM from assistant GM.
They know offense sells.
Exactly.
Right? Offense sells. So you're not going to get butts in the seats if you're losing as well. I mean, losing, you can lose a little bit, but at least if you're going to lose with some pizzazz.
Exactly.
A little razzle dazzle.
Right.
So
Trey going to drop 37
exactly
in an L, but he going to hit 37, boy.
Trey going to give you that. And so they built that from year one. Trey was busting out, you know. So, and Trey is Atlanta now. He's all things
Trey
TL. So they got
true.
the face and the CEO, who was the point guard of the organization.
Right.
They got the point guard for
the team
to attract young talent. And Collins was here before him, but Collins wasn't that guy. Like he needed someone there to set him up and things like that. Now he ain't bad.
He's a real big.
I'll take him on Miami any day. But
he ain't coming. You
see kind of like what they did, and then they got the new arena.
Yeah.
And so now the Hawks have become this kind of destination. At least for me, I like going to Hawks games.
I'm about to say, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a Hawks game, but the Hawks game,
it's fantastic.
the new Hawks State Farm Arena is exciting.
It's a place to go.
You know what I'm saying? It's an amazing place. It's an amazing vibe. They have this all you can eat area. Where,
I've been there.
Man, you go in there, you get all you can eat.
I've been to the 1800 Club too.
Bro, all you can eat drinks, like beer and whatever like that. You pay for liquor, you pay for wine. But it's amazing. I'm out there. Whenever I get to go, I'm out there. Hey, yo, Cam, we need more, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an experience. And then on top of that, like, again,
the celebs are finally coming out too.
I think the Hawks is one of the best organizations in the league right now because their community outreach is ridiculous. Like,
talk to me about that. We talked a little bit about off the mic. We didn't talk with Vlad about this, but tell me a little bit about that.
Right. So right now they actually have a program where they allow different vendors from small communities or lesser known establishments to come in for games when we have fans and whatnot, and they get to come in and set up and vend. Like if you're a small Jamaican restaurant or small Haitian restaurant out in Loganville or Decula, Duluth, Lawrenceville, you can come to a Hawks game and you could market yourself. You know what I'm saying? They give small businesses a platform to kind of put themselves out there, and you never know who you'll bump into at a Hawks game. You never know. Hey, if you're a Korean person and you're trying to get some Korean barbecue, they got breakers at the Hawks game. You end up bumping into them like, hey, I didn't even know you guys was out here.
That's amazing.
Like the community outreach with small businesses and even medium-sized businesses is just amazing. And then on top of that, the food is regular. The actual arena food
it's actually good.
It's fair and pricey. You know what I'm saying? I could take my nieces to a Hawks game with $20, feed all three of us, and be satisfied.
I've met the top chef. He was a volunteer at my day job. So him and the general manager and then another one of the people that work within there. So they do it for many. It's not just for the Hawks,
right?
It's for
Falcons
Atlanta
game.
United.
Oh yeah.
And he actually makes a menu. This is a big deal. It's not something that Phillips was doing.
No, Phillips wasn't touching again. But at that time, it wasn't really about the experience of what a basketball game was. It wasn't about success. You know what I'm saying? We got lucky, got Mike Budenholzer, and won 60 games and went to the Eastern Conference Finals. And that was just like, oh, well, we got struck by lightning. Honestly, and you see what happened right afterwards. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't keep that momentum going because that wasn't part of the plan. It just happened. Now, the plan is to be successful. The plan is to, host the Larry O'Brien in Magic City at some point. You know what I'm saying? That is the idea of what these new age franchises want to do. My nephew, he's a huge Matt Ryan fan, and Matt Ryan didn't have a good season, but he watches the Falcons and he appreciates just everything that Matt Ryan brings to the game. Watching him play regularly. He's 7 years old, and he could tell that Matt Ryan is good. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, what these teams are bringing now, and I think Arthur Blank has always been about success. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why we've been to 4 NFC championships in the last 17 years. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of teams can say that. No. Unfortunately, some of those teams can say that they've been to a couple and won the Super Bowl. But, you know, like, we haven't gotten to the pinnacle of success as far as the Falcons go. Mm-hmm. But you can tell that they're a team that wants that.
Yeah, of course.
And up until recently, I wasn't sure if the Hawks wanted that.
Okay. So with that being said, one last question, which is a 2-part question. What will a championship mean to the city of Atlanta? And what young player are you looking forward to bringing that championship to the city of Atlanta?
What a championship would mean to the city of Atlanta. I can't even imagine the last championship that I got to enjoy. I mean, Atlanta United won 3 years ago, and that was great. That was amazing.
Yeah, I went to the parade. It was cool.
This is not a soccer
It's not a soccer city, yeah.
It's not a soccer city.
It's just one portion of Atlanta.
There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying?
Chambly in them. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of natives, folks that have moved here who are like really behind the soccer team. Mm-hmm. So it's great for them. I love soccer, so it's great for me as well. But I'm way more attached to football, way more attached to basketball, a little bit more attached to baseball.
The new kids on the block.
Exactly. Yeah. So they don't have the same legacy, right? There's no way to describe the glee, joy, orgasmic, celebratory pleasure that I would find in having a Super Bowl championship or a basketball championship in this city. It would be, I'm 33.
Yeah, you never seen them.
The last one that I saw that I cared about was the Braves in '95. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And I love the Braves in the 90s. Ryan Klesko, Smoltz, Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones, Andre Galarraga. I love those guys. And as 8 years old, it felt great to know that the team that I care about is victorious at the end of the day. We was the best team in the league that year. You know what I'm saying? It was a wonderful feeling. And then we had the Olympics the next year. So that was
back to back.
It was a good time. You know what I'm saying? So
Atlanta was popping.
But at this point, like if the Falcons would have brought in a Super Bowl in 2016,
they could have saved me a lot of money.
I had a lot of tears that were ready to be released.
Yeah.
I was so hurt I couldn't cry. I drove home in silence.
I remember we was together that day.
We all did.
Bro, I remember thinking to myself, I was talking to my homie in the car and I was like, bro, what could we have done to help them?
All the time out?
I'm thinking like maybe I should have crashed into the game and streaked or something, and maybe it would have inspired my guys to be like, hey, we need to wake up. Something. But to me, that's how passionate I feel about the Falcons and the Hawks, and how desperate. After
that loss, that Monday was.
It was the darkest Monday in Atlanta.
No one went to work.
Like it was. I didn't go to school. I didn't do nothing. I didn't care. I was hurt.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, I can't put the words to describe what a championship would mean to this city. You know what I'm saying?
Because Atlanta is the culture right now.
It's amazing.
Around the world, people look to Atlanta for the culture. And I remember all the memes, the Patriots versus the Falcons. Let's be real. Black people needed that win. Yeah. And that's why it hurt so much. Yeah. Like it was the black people versus the good old boys and the Patriots, coming in. And we needed that. And it was so for a lot of people, it was more than sports. It was like summation of our lives right there. The man always wins.
Part of that is why you'll find people who have the conflicted feelings or the hatred that they have for Matt Ryan, because we remember the electricity that Michael Vick brought to the city.
In all facets.
Michael Vick,
and we're still kind of paying for that, but go on.
Michael Vick wasn't a great quarterback. Mm-hmm.
But everybody, whether you went to church on Sunday or not, at 1 o'clock, everybody ran to the living room, turn on the TV, and you did not move until
he was that electric.
4:30.
I wasn't a Falcons fan. He forced me to be a Falcons fan because you had to watch.
You had to watch because you don't know what he was going to give you that Sunday.
He's on every Atlanta rapper's video.
You never knew he's going to goddamn toss it to TJ Duckett. You didn't know what was going to happen.
You don't know if
he was that electric.
It's the anticipation of you don't know if you're gonna have a 80-yard deep bomb or 80-yard run.
He's gonna break off 7 people. You know what I'm saying?
Grateful for those years, man.
Yo, it was a great time.
And he made Sunday football.
Matt Ryan will always live in his shadow, even though Matt Ryan is levels better a quarterback than Michael Vick ever was. Mm-hmm. Right? So
we know this about Vic too because he went to Philly and did the same thing.
Yep.
He just was the culture, and that's how it is in Atlanta, man. So I could say it would be for me. I think it would be validation for Arthur Blank. All those years of pain, and finally to get one. And to be honest, literally all they need is one. This city just needs one. One Falcons championship,
and the roof is coming off.
It's all safe.
First of all,
we could never win anything else again.
First of all,
one Falcons championship.
It's gonna be Mardi Gras in this guy. It's gonna be Crime Mob gonna come back. We drop an album. It's gonna be so ridiculous if the Falcons win. I can't give you a young Falcons player that I think is gonna be.
Could be a Hawks player too.
Okay, because I would if it was a Falcons player, I'd have to say Justin Fields, who get drafted number 4. I would. That's what I would project.
I hear that, Falcons fans.
That's what I would project.
Justin Fields, Mr. Carl County, come home.
But if it's not that, then it has to be Trey. It lies on Trey's shoulders. Like Trey is the man right now. Trey TL, he's the face of Atlanta.
I remember Ice Trey. Yeah, I remember. When we got drafted, I said, all right, y'all, I don't want to hear. That's when I started telling Vlad, I was like, all right, I don't want to hear about this Marvin. Trey's the guy for the future. You guys got one.
Yeah.
They finally
can't play a lick of defense,
I'll say this.
Finally redeemed themselves after that.
In that draft, I was praying for Luka Doncic.
Really?
The confliction in my soul when we drafted Luka Doncic.
Yeah, Trey wasn't my guy.
6 minutes later, we traded Luka for Trey. I was devastated because
I remember that.
Hindsight is 2020.
Right.
Look at Luka now.
Yeah.
But
he's not Atlanta.
But here's the thing.
He's not.
Does he fit our system?
No. And he's not Atlanta.
System wouldn't have mattered because we was gonna get a coach to figure it out at some point.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
I'm not too worried about that.
Everybody doesn't fit everywhere. Not everybody's LeBron where you could just get up and go and play anywhere.
Okay.
It doesn't work like that.
This is my thing, right?
And again,
what's the real difference between Trey and Luka?
A few things.
What's the real difference between Trey?
The real difference is that Luka plays for the Mavericks. That's it.
That's it.
No.
And Luka's 5 inches taller.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
You know what? Okay. Because Luka's 5 inches taller, he can always be a closer. He can always go down in the trees, get contact, and try to finish. How often do you think Trey at 6, maybe 1, is going to be excited about going down to some trees?
But in the end, the Mavericks are 15 and 16. So what are we really talking about?
But they made it to the playoffs last year
due to COVID issues.
I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that.
8 players.
I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
Miami has won 6 straight. We just got all of our players back. I don't want to hear it.
Facts.
Because nobody cut us no slack. I don't want to hear it.
Dallas is not Miami.
So again, at the end of the day, though, Trey TL. Trey is the only. He's the beacon of hope. But because of Trey's character, his makeup, him being so small, he can't be the guy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just Steph Curry needed Kevin Love to be hurt. He needed Kyrie to be hurt, and he needed Klay to play well, and Andre Iguodala to get off the bench and start.
Yeah,
for him to win his first. When he had all them guys, even though Bogut got hurt and Draymond missed the game, I think those factor in a lot. But same way Kyrie and K Love got hurt, it's basketball. Yeah. So, but he needed all of that to get him to where he needed to, to get some accomplishments. And then he got KD, and it was like, okay, we can do this in our sleep. Mm-hmm. This is lunch. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Trey's gonna be that guy to kind of like lead us to the playoffs, mm-hmm. but it's gonna be the development of Dre, the development of Cam. If we retain John and he develops into somebody who can take folks off the dribble and he explores his game a little bit more, it's gonna take that core. I don't have no worries about Kevin Huerter because I don't think he's going nowhere. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's gonna be this. This is the core.
Yeah,
this is the core, and they have to develop this core. They got to figure it out financially. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They got to keep these guys. They got to develop these guys. I love LP. I love Coach Pierce. If he's not the guy at coaching, we need to go and invest in somebody who can just find what it is inside these guys that can take us to that place. Because if we're looking at these guys as babies, I think 3 years from now, mm-hmm. this should be like a perennial Eastern Conference team.
They're a problem.
I completely agree.
I agree.
So with that being said, thank you again, Kenz for joining us on this week's episode.
We definitely gonna have you back.
You already know.
Atlanta sports, everything.
I love it.
Now, again, guys, we will be back Monday on Clubhouse at 7 p.m.
This is gonna be crazy.
We have a great topic this week. We are going to talk top Atlanta athletes from 1990 to now. So, again, Monday at 7 p.m. Join us on Clubhouse. We're going to be talking about the top Atlanta athletes from 1990 until now.
Top 5, top 10?
We might do top 10.
I already know my 5.
Depending how I feel, we might do top 10.
I know.
But thank you again, guys, for listening to this episode. Continue to chime in and stay up to date on all our episodes. Keep that notification bell turned on.
Yep.
Follow us on all our social media and stay up to date with Sports Cash. And follow our guests, Tonton Kenz.
I already know. ATL Distinguished Gentleman Podcast coming back soon.
Where can they find you? What kind of socials you got?
Man, don't follow me on Twitter, Cook Crack Kenz, all K's, Cook Crack Kenz. You can get me on Instagram, Tonton_Kenz, TONTONKENZ. If you want to catch me on Facebook, you know what I'm saying, Marckenz, Dubuche. If you out here looking for your boy, I give you my government, holla at me. But hey man, y'all make sure y'all come back to Sports Cash. Y'all show my guys some love. This is an amazing podcast. Have a great time listening to these guys, man. These are my brothers. We grew up together. Y'all come out here, support black businesses, support each other, man. Let's keep this thing going.
Yes, I appreciate it. Well, with that being said, thank you again, and we'll see you next episode.
All right, Cash Crew. Till next time.